Hello, and welcome to the news that didn't make the news. I am Tina Hammond, and here comes our disclaimer. I am a psychic, intuitive, empathic person, and these videos are always based on psychic, empathic visions, messages, thoughts, ideas, conversations, sometimes things that come up in conversation with other people. We're going to try things differently. Hopefully, this is going to work today, and maybe nobody was wondering, but maybe somebody was wondering. Um, I actually do know how to edit videos. At least I know how to edit the beginning and the end of videos, but I choose not to do it because I don't think that there are any mistakes. And whatever is coming out my mouth is coming out my mouth for a reason. Wow, that's a really weird colored light. Sorry that I'm experimenting on you here. So, the news that didn't make the news is always me coming here with a few notes, a few thoughts, a few ideas, and then we see where that takes us. Hi, Lynn. Hello, yada chatta. So I know I'm not very friendly past the first 2 minutes of the video, and that's because I know when I concentrate and don't go back and forth with you guys that I actually become a real life channel right here in front of you, because there have been exceptions to this, especially in the last couple months, because I've gotten downloads that are, 10, 20 pages long. And so that makes it a little bit difficult to do it free flow. But I also find when I deliver information like that, it's not quite as psychic, it's not quite intuitive what past I have already received and written down, but I don't actually channel during the video in that case. So here we go. My name is Tina Hammond. This program, The News That Didn't Make the News, is brought to you by my intuition. Hello, Tina. I haven't seen you on here in a long time. Oh, you like my necklace? Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Christina. I like your name. We have a Christina and a Tina and another Tina. We have the trifecta of Tina right here for no extra charge, right? So I want to get into this, and I'll chat if you guys actually want to chat, and then I can go back and edit the video later if I decide I need to, or if I decide that I want to. You guys, if you pay attention to my background at all, and I know that someone said a couple weeks ago that my background, my dining room here, my kitchen should be an album cover. But if anyone pays attention, I rearrange a lot. And my neighbor said to me yesterday, for the love of God, you're rearranging again. Like, how many times? It's like, well, you get new furniture, you get new stuff. When I move in, I'm very adamant about getting things set up right away. I almost knocked the light over. So yeah, rearranging things is something I like to do, making my office better, making things better. And every time I move into a place, I will literally have everything unpacked and set up in one day. So of course, when you're doing that, there are going to be things that could be better. And in life, I feel that everything is an excuse to be better, to do better, to know better, to rearrange better. Just ask anyone that's ever been a neighbor with me. I'm like in a constant state of rearranging over here. So let's talk about a lot of things that are going on here. And I would like to say I'm going to try to make this a short video, but that never works. I feel like all I do is lie to you, and it ends up not being a short video anyway. So here we go. Also, I put this on Facebook, and of course no one is seeing it because Facebook knows when you're offering a service. if anybody is watching here and has not joined me over here from Facebook, as soon as I figure out how to get some of my articles, I will no longer be on Facebook. It's 65% advertisement at this point. So what I want to let you know is any of the services that I offer, I need to just hold still. And you guys know we're all high conduits of energy, and sometimes that's hard, but I'm knocking my light around. So let me try to do better. So what I'm doing right now is something that, well, I used to go on Facebook and offer to help people for free, like once a month. If someone would just reach out to me, I'd help that person for free. That didn't work well ever, as I found out through experimenting many times with it. And it doesn't work because usually, I mean, it's like anything else. Anybody that's given something away for free, it's going to be taken by people, whether they're at the place where they want it or not, right? So that doesn't work, and it ends up being an energy drain, because what I've noticed in that pattern is if I help someone for free, the thing that I help them with, they are back a week later and 2 weeks later and 3 months later, and it never ends. That being said, what I've decided to do for the next week or two is to offer the services that I offer, and those are many. So this does not include like 20-page dissertations that I normally give you guys with a reading. If you look at Facebook, pinned to the top of my wall, you can see what I normally do offer. And so those things that come with written transcripts are not part of this. Now, normally everything is at a set price, but what I'm going to do right now, and we'll see how it goes, how long I'm going to be doing it, is I'm going to be offering services, and whether that's you need assistance with your help, whether that is you need some intuitive guidance through tarot cards, through dowsing, through maybe just an empathic conversation, whatever you need, I'm going to do that for the next week or so. And I'm going to do it by donation only. Okay. So I have not had good experiences doing those things for free. So that's why I'm going to do it from donation. Now, I will even tell you, if you want to, you can wait and see through our session how much it actually helped you, and you can decide to donate after the session if you want to do that. But I wanted to let you know, because I made several posts today on Facebook, and that is the only post that I don't think got seen by a single person. And all it basically said was, if you want assistance, reach out to me through Messenger. And I'm doing this by donation instead of my normal fees. That's what it said. Because no one saw it, I'm mentioning it to here to you now. I want to start out by saying very gracefully that the amount of people that have prayed, that have written blogs, that have made videos, that are part of the alliance, that are part of the military, whatever part you play in this scenario of the conscious awakening, I want to say a very valiant thank you for whatever part you played in what is happening right now. And I think that's really super important. We all have different roles. And I know that what's happening right now, we have been waiting for such a long time for these things to happen, to the point where many of us didn't think they were ever going to happen. We didn't think we were ever going to get NESARA or GESARA. We didn't think they were ever going to abolish the IRS. We didn't think they were ever going to stop the chemtrails. There's a whole host of things that we've known about, some of us for decades, that we didn't feel were ever going to be put to a stop. We are in a time right now of insurmountable, not sure I even want to say this, tech challenges. And so I was watching my favorite YouTuber today called Kate's Regretless Life. Whoops, hold on. Okay. This tripod does nothing. It does not stand on its own. I have to lean it against something and jerry rig it with rocks. That's what I normally do. But anyway, I was watching Kate's Regretless Life. Hello, Len. And she was talking about the crazy tech problems she was having. And I noticed it too. Now, she got the same message in the middle of the video that I got the last couple times that I went live through on this computer, and everything seems to be working great. Knock on wood without knocking the light over. Everything seems to be going great, but she was getting that same message that she didn't have enough video power to continue and that her viewing audience was going to experience buffering. With the amount of things electronically and electromagnetically that are happening on this planet, we're lucky that I can even sit here in this chair and deliver the news that didn't make the news. We're lucky that we can message each other. We're lucky that we have technology at all. So, hello, Jared. I haven't seen you in a long time. Hello, welcome here, welcome in, and welcome back, everyone. So the advantage has always been if I make this video on my cell phone, it's wonky. It looks like I'm just one big nose. It's kind of crazy. It's like an up close crime light shot, right? Which I really don't appreciate. However, algorithmically, for some reason, when I go on my phone, it puts it out into the feed where people outside of the channel can see it. And I'm interested in being able to help or assist more people, but it's really difficult. So that's why sometimes I will use my phone, but that has not been the case lately. So from the time this goes live to about maybe an hour or two later, anyone that hasn't seen the video within an hour or two of me making it or right here live, it doesn't show up. I don't know if it's showing up in your notifications, but it's not showing up in your feed. So one of the very great reasons that I will use my phone is if 40, 50, 60, 80 people see my video, even if they only click on it for a minute, it throws it out past the channel, which is a really good reason to use the phone. Now, that's also not working anymore either. So I'm trying to teach Facebook algorithm who I am and why I'm here and what I'm doing. And that's kind of why I've started using the same hashtags over and over and over again. If I'm using love story or destiny, even though that's all a part of why we're here, right? That's our love story is just as big, just as glorious, and just as valiant of a reason for being here as military operations and intuitive messages and all of that other stuff. But it's very confusing to the algorithm. Oh, good. You did get a notification. Yeah, because there normally aren't even 7 people here on the live. So hello. Thank you for coming back. I want to talk about a few things that I feel like are going on. And I know it always seems to be a jumbled mess, but that somehow is connected. I did want to start by saying a very valiant thank you to all of our brothers and sisters on the earth, interdimensionally, on other planes of existence, every single person who's given an ounce of their grace, an ounce of their love, an ounce of their time in helping people and assisting people. And whether that be someone who's blogging or someone who's standing on the military front lines. As you know, the war we're experiencing right now is more of an evolution of progress, technology, and how we are connected and interconnected to each other. But there are many of us, myself included, that had just about given up on the fact that any of these things I've got messages about my entire life were not going to happen. And that's why I wanted to stop and thank the people. Because a lot of times we feel things happening, but we don't physically see them happening and we don't physically see them coming to fruition. So thank you to every man, every woman, every energetic being, every interdimensional being, every planetary assistance, both off the planet and on, for assisting us and finally helping us pull these things to fruition into physical reality that we have known about, talked about, and felt for such a long time. Hello, Andrea Fairman, and welcome. How are you? So, yes, back to what I started with, I do know how to edit. Um, I could, do things differently. But what is so important for me is to bring this through in an authentic way. All right. I'm not going to edit out me scratching my head, me squirming around on my chair. I'm not going to edit out talking to you guys or anything, because everything happens for a reason. And if I know myself and I really trust myself, I have to believe that everything happens for a reason. And I want this to be the most energetically organic transfer that you and I can have together. And so that is why I do not edit. Now, there was a video when I did the tarot card reading about the FEMA camps, and I was so nervous. I was shaking. I was repeating myself. So I went in and listened to that video and cut that video in half. But that's not something I normally do. I want to bring it to you the way it was meant to, instead of me making a judgment on scratching my head, making pauses, making funny faces, singing songs, all the things that I do. Where to start? Our nervous system is affected by everything. It's affected by what we eat, the pills we take, the vitamins we take. It's affected by our self-talk. It's about the relationships we invite ourselves to take part in. It's about the relationships that we stay in. It's about how we peacemake. It's about so many different things, right? Your nervous system is affected by food, by medicine, by what you drink, by how you move your body. It's affected by everything. So all of us are in the same boat. We all have the same electromagnetic system, which is our spinal cord and our connection internally to the universe, which is us internally, which is our organs, our skin, our bone, our blood, everything. I was really super amazed I think it was about 2.5, 3 years ago. I had a doctor's appointment, and they hook you up to the blood pressure machine, right? That's always the first thing they do. Hi, what's your name? Let me cuff you. Really? We haven't even had dinner. So they cuff you, right, with the blood pressure thing. And then they leave the room. And my blood pressure was so high that the machine was like giving this alert, which was scaring the crap out of me. And they left me in there for like 10 or 15 minutes with this blood pressure cuff on high alert, which was just making my blood pressure even higher. But what really surprised me about this interaction, and I know this, but just because we know something doesn't mean that we don't need a friendly reminder every once in a while. So the doctor, or you rarely get a doctor anymore, the nurse, whoever came in, and she said, your blood pressure is incredibly high. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. I mean, it's been sending this thing into a frenzy for like the last 10 or 15 minutes, ever since you left the room, right? And she looked at me and she said, Miss Hammond, you're the one in charge of your blood pressure. So you take your blood pressure down. And I closed my eyes and I said, everything's okay. You're completely safe. Lower the blood pressure. And it just dropped like that. But doctor's offices always scare me. My blood pressure always raises. I think they call that white coat syndrome, right? When you get just totally freaked out in doctor's offices. But she was there to give me a friendly reminder that I was the one that was in charge of my blood pressure. Now, I don't normally have high blood pressure, not even anything close. But our body reacts to everything we put in and everything we say to it. Everything when you get, sometimes you can't help but have a disagreement or an argument with somebody, right? But when you get in a full-fledged fight with someone, right, just an exchange of nasty words, it's so detrimental to your own body when we get in that. Um, so what is happening for many people, and it's for many different reasons. Basically, there's two things going on. In your personal reality, there could be things that are causing your blood pressure to raise, or causing your blood pressure to spike, because your nervous system has been exhausted from not being safe. Now, we don't all have an extreme case of being not feeling safe, but it's happening to us on a personal level, and it's happening on to us on a global level. And I think it was just a couple of weeks ago that I realized that many of the things that I had to work out with myself were because that I didn't feel externally safe in the world. Now, I'll go running just about anywhere, and I don't worry about getting mugged or you know having issues with people. But I don't mean that. I mean the external world, like the government is robbing us, they're spraying chemtrails to kill everybody, they're vaccinating, all these things, right? And I finally realized that these things, that knowing all these things, because actually my dad's partner said to me a year or two ago, I don't know how you know the things you know without absolutely losing it. And I thought I was doing a better job till about 2 weeks ago. And I realized, because I have become adept at feeling and seeing things behind the curtain, so to speak, that lack of safety in the world because of all the things that were going on, and it really, really heightened during COVID. And I couldn't understand why people weren't seeing through the veneer of what was happening. And so I really got on high alert and stayed on high alert. Now, it wasn't, my body was not staying in a state of high alert. And like I said, I just realized a couple of weeks ago that, yes, I knew these things. Yes, I was bringing awareness to these things in whatever ways possible, but that I didn't feel safe in the outside world. Now, we all have this going on to one extent or another. So if you take someone that's, been battered or abused by a spouse, for example, that person will start to sleep with one eye open. They'll start to distrust everyone. They may even start to become a little bit paranoid, right? So there's all these different things that factor into, do I feel safe personally? Do you feel safe personally? And do you feel safe externally? And it's a really, really, really big deal to feel safe. So the body has been on high alert, some of you because of physical situations within your house or people that are close to you. And some people have been on high alert because of external things. Now, if you're looking at negative news, 5-6 hours a day, and then asking yourself why you're in a negative position, that's a different story, because I know that most of you are not doing that. But intuitively, you're still picking up on things going on behind the scenes. Let's say the military went on high alert. Well, they may, at this point of the game, they're not even going to tell us that we're on high alert, right? But we can feel that we're on high alert. And that's why it's so important for us to do everything that we can to take care of the nervous system. When your body is on high alert, whether that's because of a personal situation or something external in reality, you overstress and overtax the nervous system. So one of the reasons, the main reason that I'm talking about this right now, is I've been talking about people moving away from people, places, things, relationships, jobs, probably for the last year and a half, maybe 2 years. And while I don't delve that much into the relationship stuff anymore, it's something that we're very aware that's happening. So whatever it is for you, whether it's personally not feeling safe or on high alert, or externally not feeling safe or externally feeling on high alert, what is happening now is that the pressure is being released from that. Now, you may not remember or have recollection of past life experiences. Even if you've gone to a past life regressionist, that may only give you a piece of that. That's not something that I've ever done personally. No, I'm not knocking it. What I'm saying is, if something happened, let's say cyclically every 12,000 years or 26,000 years, there's a massive catastrophe. We, of course, affect this, and we, of course, can change this, and we, of course, can jump timelines, and we have. That's why I'm talking about this. When we hold it in our body at a cellular level that, oh shit, Atlantis went down or Lemuria went down, even without the past life regression, even without the knowledge or the vision or the information from it, it's held at a cellular level. And so what then happens when you have come back for another 12,000 year cycle or another 26,000 year cycle? And I've been saying this for a while, but I believe the 26,000 year cycle ends on March 21st this year, and that's a really big deal. But if we have calamity and catastrophe every 12,000 years, even without the memory or the recollection or the past life delving into that, we have that at a cellular level. So when we get to that same place in the cycle, so we get to that 12,000 year cycle, or we get to the end of a 26,000 year cycle, it is in our body held on a cellular level that, oh shit, this happened before, right? So a lot of anxiety, depression, whatever. I have a lot of memories from Atlantis. I watch myself and other people get blown up, and that stays with you at a cellular level, despite all of the things that were done to us to try to help us. Now, I believe this was the Pleiadians and the Arcturians, but after I saw Atlantis blow up, the only thing I remember is seeing this conveyor belt go by, and there were just hundreds and hundreds of bodies on this conveyor belt, and they were running them through different light therapies and sound therapies and frequency healing. And then when they were done with that, they put you in a pod. It looked like a giant walnut floating in the ocean on some other planet that many of you have seen because I've talked to you about this other planet. So explosion in Atlantis, they put you on this conveyor belt. I mean, there are hundreds of people at home. It's like a hospital or a factory where they gave you all these healing modalities. And then after you were healed, they put you in this little pod and you were floating on the water. When I woke up, I was like, where am I? Because I pushed open the lid of the pod and it was just water everywhere. And I noticed that while I was lifting up the pod to see where am I, and the only thing that I remembered inside this vision, and keep in mind, this happened while I was on the phone with someone, so this was a total trip. But as I was starting to awaken and push that pod open, there were pods all around me that were also pushing the pod open and starting to awaken. The only memory I had was a friend of mine coming into the lab to try to get me out because he knew it was going to explode. I didn't listen to him. I watched the lab, it myself included, explode. And then I saw this on conveyor belts, and then I saw some pods. When I woke up and opened that pod, it looked exactly like Earth, right? It was very tropical. It looked exactly like Earth, except for Earth's, the majority of the color of planet Earth is brown, green, and blue, right? Of course, we have all colors, but those are the main colors of the sky, the trees, the water. this planet looked exactly like Florida. I would say it looked more like the Florida Keys, as best I can describe it. But everything was blue, purple, and pink. The trees were not brown and green. Everything was blue, purple, and pink. And I've had other people tell me experiences or memories of this too. So what I'm saying is, when you get to the end of the cycle, even though